Hello everyone, greetings to you all. My name is David Nwagaba. I am a medical laboratory technician. I work with Mayanda Memorial Hospital. This hospital is actually found in Mbarara, Mailo Biri, Mbarara, Kampala Road. Today we are going to talk about a very important disease. Most people tend to ignore it, but it is of a good idea that we talk about it, and we know nowadays it can be how we can actually know that someone has it and things that we need to do maybe to avoid having more of it, especially in Uganda. And that's known as an sickle cell disease. I understand most families have been affected by this disease. A sickle cell disease, this is a red blood cell disorder. It doesn't affect any other cell. It affects the red blood cells. Let's take an example of a red blood cell being like the wheel of a boda. But then a sickle cell, like the name suggests, sickle. In early days we used to have this farmer's tool, the one we used to cut grass, these long grasses. So the red cell loses its shape and it becomes the sickle. It changes the shape. And then what happens when that red cell gets sickled? It will block the veins. But the advantage, which I would not take it so important, is it breaks down so easily. So even if it gets sickled, it will still break down. Then the blood can still continue to move. But then the disadvantage is when it is sickled and is breaking down, then of course to increase anemia, because the red blood cells, they break down so easily and the anemia increases. That's why you find people with sickle cell disease have anemia most times. Let's look at the epidemiology. In Uganda, actually about 13% are affected with this disease. How does sickle cell get transmitted? How do I get a sickle cell? The sickle cell disease actually depends on hemoglobin type that someone has in their body. And of course, a hemoglobin is always in a red blood cell. Now, if I have a normal hemoglobin, that is HbAA, and I marry someone with also normal hemoglobin, HbAA, then definitely will never have any person or any child who will get that disease. But now, let us look at if I have a sickle cell trait. That means that I have HbAS. And maybe my partner also have a trait, HbAS. We are not sick. We don't have sickle cell disease, but you have a trait. What you should know is actually an inherited disease. You are not going to drink water and get it. We inherit from our parents. So, if I am a parent, a father with HbAS, that is a trait, and my wife has also HbAS, 25% of the children we are going to produce will get a disease. So, if you have a trait and your woman has a trait, 25% chances you're going to produce a child with a sickle cell disease. There are also 50% chances that we are going to produce a trait also. We are going to also produce children with HbAS. Then there are also chances of 25% that we are going to also produce a normal like children with HbAA. But if I'm HbSS, that means I'm a sickler, and my wife is also a sickler. All the children will be sickler. Well, the signs and symptoms could cross here and there. They are not very specific, but definitely someone will be in pain. Joint pains, chest pains, legs, arms. I will have anemia because the red blood cells are breaking down oftenly. You get edemas and you'll be sweating hands, sweating legs. We are going to have paleness. You find the body is pale, a yellowing of eyes. That is due to anemia. Frequent infections, because the immune system is so low, is so weak. So we have infections. Definitely delayed growth. So when do you need to seek for help? When you are in severe pain, when you have fevers, difficulty in breathing, because a red blood cell is the one that carries oxygen all over the body. And now they are breaking down so easily. So how do you know you have the sickle cell disease? There is no any other way apart from doing medical tests. One of them should be a FBC. Check about your red blood cells. Check about your hemoglobin content. From there, maybe you can do a thin film comment. We can find those sickle cells in a film comment. We can also do, now actually even most hospitals in Uganda, even most government hospitals, they have these sickle scan tests. There are those sickle scan tests that they do. Particularly here, even at Mayada, we have that. So you can come and we do all these tests and we confirm whether you have it. Definitely you need to confirm which hemoglobin type you have. The HbA, the HbAs, the HbSS. And that one is confirmed by none other than HbA electrophoresis, which also offer effective. So you can come and check out this. I want to bring to you that whenever you're going to get married, also consider doing a sickle scan. Now, after looking at all that, how are we going to take care? How are we going to manage this? Most importantly, we need to do the checkup. Let's go to the hospital and do the checkup. We also need to take the prescribed medicine. You have to drink a lot of water so that you keep your body hydrated. Eat well for your body to keep making more. And then of course we have to get vaccines. All the vaccines, because we are trying to avoid any infection that to make you compromise. Avoid extreme temperature. You need to be in cells, you need to be in a cool environment. Definitely, you need counseling. If your child is sick or if you're sick yourself with this disease, you need to visit the counselors, you need to talk to them. Kindly, just know, this sickle cell disease is not witchcraft. It's not. You know, when they get this disease, because they are always in the hospital, you find now they are being taken to the witch doctors. It's not a curse, it's not a witchcraft. That is the most important thing. It is a medical condition. This is a medical condition, my friends. You need to go for checkup, you need to visit hospitals regularly. Families that have these sicklers, of course those families, they need love, they need care, they need supportive. Do not blame them because they did not actually think this was going to happen. So we don't have to blame them. We don't even need to discriminate them from our environment. What do we have? Sickle cell disease is inherited. It is transferred from a parent to the children. We need to know our HB status before we get married. Okay? Yeah, we need to know that status before we get married. We have to do early testing for the babies. First, we know how they are. If they are sicklers, then we know that they need a medical supportive care. As simple as that. This sickle cell disease is not curable. So you need to seek for medical support, family support, counseling, and we live with it. If you take good care of these people, they will live longer and they will be productive. I remain Mwagama David, a medical biotechnician at Maga Memorial Hospital. Thank you so much for your time.